Have you ever felt it? That sudden, uninvited weight in your chest while standing in a crowded room? It's not sadness, not exactly. It's more like a quiet realization. You look at the person across from you, a stranger checking their watch, and for a split second, the veil drops. You realize they have a bedroom they return to, a childhood scar you'll never see, a person they've lost whose name you'll never know. In that moment, the world feels impossibly vast, and you feel terrifyingly small. But there's no word for this in your daily vocabulary. You can't tell your friend, "I'm feeling that thing where everyone else's reality feels as heavy as mine." So you say nothing, you check your phone, you move on. But that feeling didn't disappear, it just went looking for a home it couldn't find. We live in a world that is obsessed with how we are. How are you? I'm fine. I'm tired. I'm happy. We've been given a box of 8 primary colors to paint a landscape that has a million shades of gray. We are fluent in the language of productivity, but we are illiterate in the language of our own inner shadows. Welcome to a space where we stop pretending the colors are enough. Welcome to Orphan Emotions. Why orphan emotions? In psychology, we are taught that emotions are evolutionary tools. Fear keeps us from the edge of the cliff. Anger prepares us to fight. But what about the others? What about the feelings that don't seem to have a survival purpose? There is a vast category of human experiences that I call orphan emotions. These are the complex, hybrid sensations that our modern language has abandoned. They are orphans because they have no name to belong to, no category to fit into, and no social permission to be expressed. When an emotion is unnamed, it becomes a ghost. It haunts your subconscious. You feel a restlessness on a Sunday afternoon, a strange grief when finishing a good book, or a flicker of anxiety when looking at a clear night sky. Because you can't name them, you think you are weird or broken. You might even think you are alone in feeling them. But the truth is, the human mind is far more sophisticated than the languages we've built to describe it. Our brains are capable of experiencing joy ache, the sting of a happy memory that you know will never happen again, or the anticipatory mourning of a loved one who is still very much alive. By refusing to name these feelings, we leave them out in the cold. We let them stay orphans, but when we give them a name, something miraculous happens. The ghost takes a shape. The chaos becomes a map. Research in neuroscience suggests that the act of affective labeling, simply naming a complex feeling, reduces the activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Naming it is the first step to taming it. To understand the power of this, let's look at 3 specific orphan emotions that most of you have felt, perhaps even this morning, but never had the words to reclaim. I, Sonder first, there is Sonder. This is perhaps the most famous of the orphans coined by John Koenig. It's the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. They have their own internal monologue, their own secret shames, and their own grand ambitions. Why does Sonder feel so heavy? Because it shatters our ego. It reminds us that we are not the protagonists of the universe, but merely extras in 7 billion other movies. It is a humbling, dizzying feeling. But once you name it, Sonder transforms from a source of isolation into a bridge of empathy. You realize that the stranger scowling at their phone is fighting a battle just like yours. 2. L'appel du vide. Then there is something darker. L'appel du vide. The call of the void. It's that inexplicable urge to jump when standing on a high balcony, or to swerve the car into oncoming traffic for just a second. If you don't know the name for this, it's terrifying. You think, am I losing my mind? Do I want to die? But psychologists explain it differently. It is actually a high signal error. Your brain detects a mortal danger so fast that it overcompensates, creating a phantom urge to remind you how much you actually want to live. It isn't a death wish, it's a life reflex. It's an orphan emotion that was born from your survival instinct, but it speaks a language we often misunderstand. 3. Chrysalism. Finally, there is chrysalism. Have you ever been inside during a violent thunderstorm, feeling a strange, amniotic sense of peace? The louder the thunder, the deeper your sense of safety. It's the feeling of being in a womb of warmth while the world outside is in chaos. We feel this often in our modern lives, when we retreat to our beds after a day of social noise, or when we find a quiet corner in a loud airport. Chrysalism is the soul's need to return to its origin. It's the quiet rebellion against a world that demands we always be out there, exposed and active. The reason I created Orphan Emotions is simple. We are suffering from a crisis of misinterpretation. We mistake our complexity for pathology. We think our weird thoughts are symptoms when they are actually just features of a deeply sensitive mind. We live in an age of the optimized self, where we are told to fix our feelings as if they were broken software. But you cannot optimize a soul. You can only witness it. In the videos to come, we are going to dive deep into these shadows. We are going to explore the psychology of the inner child that never grew up, the fear of insignificance that keeps us awake at night, and the strange beauty of our most painful doubts. We are going to take these orphaned feelings, the ones that make you feel isolated, the ones that make you feel like an alien in your own life, and we are going to give them a home. We are going to build a vocabulary for the invisible, because when you know that what you feel has a name, and that others are feeling it too, the world becomes a little less cold. The void becomes a little less deep. If you have ever felt something you couldn't explain, if you have ever looked at the stars and felt a tug in your gut that you couldn't describe to your best friend, then you belong here. This is not a channel for quick fixes. This is a channel for deep understanding. I want to hear from you. In the comments below, try to describe one feeling you've had this week that you didn't have a word for. Don't worry about being poetic or precise. Just describe the sensation. Let's start the work of naming them together. Subscribe to join us in the orphanage of the mind. Let's find out what it means to be truly, deeply, and confusingly human. My name is Huberto Zapater, and this is Orphan Emotions. Until next time, be kind to your shadows.